Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 8th webinar for ICTFOOTPRINT.eu. It's a coordination and support action supported by the Horizon 2020 programme. And it's made up of three partners: Trust IT Services, I'm the CEO and founder, Deloitte Sustainability in France, and our third partner, Eurocities in Belgium. Today's webinar is entitled How to Eco-Design Digital Services, with a focus on GreenConcept. And we have our list of partners indicated here of our esteemed speakers this morning. Now, going into detail, I will go through, this is a snapshot of all of our four speakers this morning, and I'll go into detail when I introduce them individually. The ICT Footprint EU coordination action. So what is this? It aims to become, in 36 months, and we're now in the second part of the project, a consolidated effort of bringing these sets of stakeholders that you see on the slide in front of you, mainly intensive SMEs working in ICT, SDOs, cities and public administrations, as well as ICT suppliers. What's missing on this list is also the policymakers and funding agencies, as one of our objectives is to pull out some recommendations and calls to action in month 36. So that would be in January 2019 to help support policy on understanding some recommendations to take forward on becoming greener in ICT and what can happen on perhaps a national level and then at a European one. So some results so far: we work extremely hard to put together a set of community members, and at the moment we're looking at over 4,000 who are profiled under the categorized profiles that we'd listed in the slide previously. What we have is a marketplace on the ICT Footprint web platform, where we want to try and engage both buyers and suppliers to help showcase their products or solutions, or at the same time have an opportunity for stakeholders to see what's out there so they can actually acquire some of these green ICT tools or solutions. We have an esteemed advisory group who support us, especially around the set of ICT methodologies that have been updated and are on a dynamic map on the ICT Footprint website. Thanks to the support from our experts and engaging with SDOs, we can actually see which methodologies are out there and how they can help you become more energy efficient in your workplace. We try and run regular webinars and give insights with the experts, such as the ones we have today, on what's going around us in the European landscape. And we actively get engaged with a series of events, international ones. And what's happening at the moment, and you'll see that in red, is that we're pulling out a tool. We have one already. It's a type of lightweight assessment tool for services, and the release in March is for organizations to help you become energy efficient, and you're given a PDF downloadable report after you've filled in a sets of questions, pretty easy, that gives you advice on then what to do to become greener in ICT. And we very much look forward to you all filling this in. It's going through its beta phase now, and should be ready within a couple of weeks for us all to then try out. And your user experience on this is very important. And what we want to do is take this on the road and take it to local places. The first one is in Amsterdam, which I'll show you in the next slides, on the 20th of March, where we invite as many ICT intensive SMEs as possible to actually do a hands-on workshop and try out this assessment tool, and at the same time learn what these SMEs are actually doing themselves. So it's a bit of a win-win situation, so we'd love to have you attend that. If you can see here, I won't repeat this, but these are the principal outputs for our stakeholders. We also have a help desk, and we like to indicate the success stories also on the web platform. So if you have a success story you want to show us, because we have a very good network, if this will provide you with very good visibility. It does go through an evaluation criteria, which is even better, so you know that we're not putting up just anything that comes in. And we're becoming a nice set of success stories are actually being included there. So some results, as you can see at the moment, very good numbers, a wonderful network, like-minded associations that are doing similar things. So this is our objective, try and get as many people within the community to talk about what's going on and to help us get better in the future. And so, as highlighted previously, this is the hands-on workshop. It's one of 4. The first one is in Amsterdam, and it's on the 20th of March in collaboration with Green IT Amsterdam and supported by TQ, which is a hub for startups. And what this day will have the hands-on assessment of the tool, as well as a policy intervention to understand what's happening on national digital agendas on green ICT, we hope, as well as understanding what organizations locally are doing what. So it's a very practical day, and we look forward to welcoming as many of you as possible. So with that, I'm going to pass the floor to our first 2 speakers. They are Caroline Vateau, and who is a consultant at NEUTREO, and she's the General Secretary at Alliance Green IT, and she assists companies from startups to big companies in environmental strategy implementation, and she's a specialist in sustainable ICT issues. Damien Prunel, on the other hand, he's an Ecodesign Consultant at Bureau Veritas, and he has had the opportunity to develop expertise in life cycle assessments and eco-design for electrical and electronic products. And the presentation title is Eco-Design of Digital Services. So over to you both, Caroline and Damien. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Silvana, for your introduction, and also for inviting us to give our feedback on this very exciting issue. Actually, I'm working as a consultant at NEUTREO, which is a consultancy company specialized in sustainable ICT. And I also work with Damien as a team, Damien Prunel from Bureau Veritas LCE on the Green IT project. I'm very glad to be part of Alliance Green IT board since 2015. Just one quick word on Alliance Green IT. It's a French association gathering companies and third parties involved in the sustainable development of digital services, network, and infrastructure. Our 3 main targets are to federate all the contributors involved in green IT issues, to raise awareness on the sustainable digital topic, and to publish best practices and documentation. Maybe you already have seen some of our publication and videos, such as Is the Cloud Green and Ecodesign of Digital Services, which publication has been supported by 15 organizations through Europe. You can freely download our documentation on our website, www.alliancegreenit.org. So, this being said, it's known now that digital transition represents a major change in the company evolution. And it's also a fact that all the activities are concerned, from health to communication, city management, tax collection, energy production management, retail, farming, travel, and so on. This digital transition is also a major change in the company strategy and leads to new business model and products. These new models raise a lot of questions, such as trust, accessibility, governance, resources, location, waste, ethics, responsibility, involvement, energy, training, and communication. So one major question is how to develop new digital services without massive social and environmental impact. One other thing is when you think about the major protagonists of the digital transition, the major disruptors come to your mind, such as Uber, Airbnb, Amazon, and so on. But it's now a fact that you have to keep in your mind. All the companies are concerned from the SME, small and medium enterprise, to startup to big companies, because they will all develop or use digital services to develop their activities. So it's one of the concern of the main concern of the GreenConcept project, how small and medium companies could implement eco-design into the development of the digital services.
Thank you, Caroline.
Okay.
So what are the environmental impacts of electronic industry? Currently, the electronic industry is one of the most polluting industry, polluting in energy consumption, in resource consumption, and in water consumption. Here are some key figures. For example, to manufacture a computer, it requires more than 40 different metals. Some of these materials are available in very small quantities, such as gold, silver, indium, or tantalum. Moreover, some electronic components can only be manufactured from specific materials. For example, without indium, we are not able to manufacture touchscreen devices. Internet required a lot of energy. Currently, it is estimated that Internet in the world represents twice the electricity consumption of France. And in France, the digital economy represents 30% of the country's electricity consumption. To produce computer equipment and its components, we need water. It also requires water to produce electricity. At the end, an internet user will consume 3 cubic meters of water in 1 year. Internet represents 2 or 4% of global greenhouse gas emissions, is as much as air transport. And last figure, in Europe, we benefit from a specific end-of-life process for equipment, but this is not the case for the rest of the world. Currently, we estimate that 70% of electronic waste is illegally traded. This generates environmental and social impacts. With these key numbers, I'm now sure that you are convinced that the digital industry needs to evolve. To respond to this environmental issue and the growing needs for digital services, we must develop sustainable digital services. All stages of the equipment lifecycle are concerned: manufacturing, use, and end of life, of sure. To be efficient, we do not focus only on equipment, for example, smartphone or smartwatch, but we must develop a global approach focused on the service to the user. So we are no longer talking about project eco-design, but eco-design of digital services. So Caroline, could you give us a definition of green IT and eco-design of digital services?
Okay. There are 3 main different approaches related to green IT. The first and the older one was to consider all the IT system of an organization and look for action to optimize and reduce its environmental footprint. The new approach we developed today is to have a focus on the sustainable design of digital services with a end-user services approach. And the last one is to consider ICT as a solution to reduce environmental impact of other activities such as energy, transportation, farming, and so on. This approach is currently called IT for Green. These three approaches are not in competition. They, of course, are complementary. So to talk about eco-design and how to eco-design digital services, it's a very simple recipe, you'll see. First step is to define what a digital services is. All this information are detailed in the white paper published by Allianz Conati if you want to have further information. But a digital services is considered as the association of end-user devices, such as Damien said, watch, smartphone, but also cars or equipment on equipment. Also the usage of telecom network and internet, and the usage of data center or data room to calculate and store the data. And some software to give instruction to the other device and part of the digital services. So if you don't have one of these four elements, it's not a digital services. This being said, the keys of eco-design of digital services are developed in several points. These points are issued from standards, international standards such as ISO 14040, ISO 14044, and ISO 14062. So the first stage is to define a function and functional unit. What do your services is used for? For instance, the function could be to book a ticket for train travel, or to make a bank transfer, or to have a look on my house energy consumption, and so on. When this is defined, you have to consider all the equipment required to deliver the services, and to consider all the stages of this equipment life cycle, from the manufacture to the end of life. Then we use LCA approach assessment, meaning life cycle analysis of the environmental impact of the services. LCA means to have several KPI, not to focus on energy or GHG, but to have KPI on, for instance, on water consumption, on resource depletion, and waste production, and so on. And you also have to consider the three physical parts of the digital services, meaning data center, end user device, and telecom network. One very important point is also to implement a communication with interested parts, from supplier to end user, because when you talk to the end user, you will have more detail on what are their real needs, and you have to focus on the delivery of the essential function and needs to the end user. And one major point is also to, at the end, have an environmental improvement on the whole life cycle of your digital services, without pollution transfer from one environmental KPI to another, or from one life cycle stages to one other, or from one physical equipment to one other. So these are the key points, and this is the methodology we use in the GreenConcept project. Damien, could you tell us more about initiative and improvement action to decrease environmental impact?
Yes, of course. Eco-design digital services have many benefits. As you can said, Caroline, the first objective is to reduce environmental impacts. But there are 5 other advantages. The first advantage is to improve the end user experience. For example, to limit the data consumptions, we will simplify the interface of a software, or we remove the end-use functions. At the end, consumer satisfaction will be improved. The second benefit is a financial benefit. One of the fundamental principles is to use cloud computing instead of using its own data center. Thanks to that, the investment cost of companies are therefore reduced. Another possible is to reduce the need for data storage or computing power in cloud computing. The operating costs of a company are therefore reduced. The third benefit is a business benefit. To improve services, it's sometimes necessary to develop new sales models. For example, renting a service is better than buying equipment. Indeed, equipment rented between several users will have less impact than equipment used by a single user. Another benefit is related to communications. With the environmental assessment of digital services, companies have an objective and comprehensive point of view of environmental impact. Thanks to that, the goal is to inform and educate consumers to move towards the most eco-friendly services. For example, in food, it has become normal to eat organic products. In the near future, it will be normal to consume local data. And last benefits, to achieve eco-design of digital services, it is necessary to dialogue with its suppliers and to better understand the end user. So there is a better communication, all the part of the chain value. In concrete terms, what are the results that we can be obtained? With Caroline, we support companies as part of the GreenConcept project. To date, we accompany nearly 20 companies, and we have identified more than 15 environmental improvement actions. This reduction can go up to 80%, and some actions have even benefits beyond the service. This is the case of home automation device in the building. Our action can be classified according to 6 categories: business model, communications, devices, network, data center, and software. Here are some actions. For business model, for example, it's better to rent a service instead of buying a product. Communications, it's better to adapt as close as possible the customer's needs and avoid functions that will not be used. Devices, it's better to reduce the electronic components, choose less polluting components, or extend the service lifetime of devices. For network, it's better to favor local communication protocols like Bluetooth or NFC instead of mobile networks. You can also decrease the amount of data used. For data center, it's better to reduce the need for data storage or computing power in cloud computing. And at the end, for the software, you can optimize the software interface, and you can also delete the unused function of software.
Thank you very much, Damien, Caroline. That was a wonderful intervention. We put up a question on the chat. If one of you wants to respond to that quickly, I think we just have time for one question now. Let's see if at the end of the webinar if we can introduce any more. You talked about the identification of these 20 companies so far. How difficult or easy is it for them to implement eco-design in their digital services? And do they have any principal pain points, if any? Has there been a common feedback? Because that's always the most interesting part, isn't it? How do the users, what do the users tell you after using it? So I don't know if Caroline, Damien wants to answer.
Yeah.
Over to you.
Maybe Christophe, Sebastien, and Valentin will present their point of view on this question. But one advantage for SMEs is that they are very short way of decision. So when a decision is taken, it could be quickly implemented. That is not always the case in big companies' governance. And we also, with Damien and with Frédéric Bordage from GreenConcept, we also decide to build some very easy tool in order to not spend too much time on data collection. So it was a very easy approach, but maybe they could give their feedback after. Or Damien, maybe you have a complement additional point of view.
Yes. I think it's easy for SME to implement Ecodesign in their digital services. Why? Because when we advise SME, we perform a diagnostic in a few hours, and based on this diagnostic, we offer them different actions. Some of them are harder than others, but we still find simple action to implement. And also, and SME are very motivated to transform their digital services.
Oh, that's very positive. We do have another couple of questions. Let's see. This one's interesting. Did your organization have any recommendations for e-waste, as this is a serious problem still in developing countries? How do we apply life cycle thinking in e-waste dumping? Not sure if this is possible for you to answer.
Yes, e-waste were a big issue in the Green IT project. And one of the best way we identify is not to generate e-waste. As Damien said, when you are in an economic strategy, when you sell IoT to the market, then this IoT have a short lifespan. So in 1 year, this IoT will become e-waste. So we identify that if you have more rental business model, you could extend the lifetime of the device first, and you could design a device which could be refurbished and also repair, and you can have additional value in your business model. And also you can collect the equipment at the end of the services and refurbish it for next usage. So this will have a huge impact on the e-waste production.
Thank you, Caroline. One last quick question. Thank you for the questions that are coming in, by the way. Oh, wow, they're coming in loud and digital service decision alternatives, if so, how? And then could you say a bit more why it's better to consume local data? You decide which one you want to pick up on that, and then 2 minutes we'll then move on to the next speaker. Thank you.
Damien, you want to answer? Okay. As consuming local data, it's a very important point because there are several issues besides this question. The first one is about governance on the data. And, you know, in France, we have a specific regulation through data protection, and we are out of the scope of the Patriot Act. So this is the first stage, first answer. And also, consume local data is an evidence, because when you want to manage a smart city, if your data are located at the other part of the world, you will have a huge impact on the telecom network. So, consuming, we are now agree that for local usage and for to have a quick answer to the device question, it's necessary to have your data located close to the usage. And this will also decrease the environmental impact of the network.
Caroline, thank you very much. And to Damien, I'm not going to take any more questions. You do have all details of all speakers' emails, so you're free to contact them on a personal level if you want to go into any more detail on any of these issues that you've already seen. Thank you once again. I'd like to move swiftly on to our second speaker, who's Christophe Fernique, who is an environmental project manager at Occitanie Chamber of Commerce, and he supports companies in their environmental initiatives. He animates the regional project GreenConcept carried out by the CCI Occitanie with the support of the ADEME and the Occitan region. And your presentation is how to design eco-design digital services, focus on the GreenConcept project. Over to you, Christophe. Thank you very much.
Hello. Can you see the PowerPoint?
Yes, we can.
Yes, we do.
I'm working for the Chamber of Commerce of Occitanie and NEUTREO in south of France. The Occitanie region is located in south of France and count about 6 million inhabitants. It's the only French region to benefit of two metropolises, which are Montpellier and Toulouse, and which are both, by the way, labeled French Tech. There is about 10,000 digital companies, generated 50,000 direct jobs. The region is Occitanie is characterized by the presence of some digital clusters, leading research clusters, incubators, and accelerators, which contribute to creation of many startups. The region Occitanie is also characterized by a lot of small and medium companies. 99% of companies have less than 50 employees. So about Green IT, the thematic is not new here. We have already since 3 years a big event called the Green IT Day every year, and also already 3 editions with 600 professionals. It's 1 day meeting about the Green IT. Also, the Occitanie, the Regional Chamber of Commerce, organized some collective action with the French Public Agency for Environmental called ADEME, and also the Occitanie region and Europe on some thematic on eco-design of products and energy saving. We have already about 500 companies supported in those actions. Last of all, in the late 2016, CC Occitanie with the GreenConcept project was laureate of the call for project on circular economy from ADEME and Occitanie. So let me tell you more about the regional action GreenConcept that we hear since the beginning of this webinar. The main target of the GreenConcept project is to help 30 small and medium companies to implement the principle of eco-design into the development of their digital services. The action is composed by 3 sessions of 10 companies between 2007 and 2019. Each company will benefit from 7 days of individual support in digital eco-design and 3 collective workshops. A pool of 3 private experts are charged to support this company, and you hear them previously with NEUTREO, Caroline Vateau, GreenIT.fr, Frédéric Bordache, and LCIA Bureau Veritas with Damien Prunel. This action is mainly supported by public organization, ADEME, the Occitanie region, and also the Chamber of Commerce of Occitanie. So there is a minimal participation for companies, starting from €500 for small companies. At the end of the result, will be shared at the national level. The result will be shared at the national level with the addition of a good practice guide. Also, over 1,000 companies will be sensitized on digital eco-design during the 3 years of the Green Project Action. And on this picture, you can see that the pool of the first 18 companies already in the course of GreenConcept. And you can also see that the company are from very different activity sector. Thank you very much.
Christophe, thank you very much. I would like to ask a quick question, if I may. So what, in your opinion, so it's a bit similar clearly to the questions before, but it's so relevant because there are so many SMEs in Europe, and finding out what problems they're facing is vital, so we can do things better in the coming months and years. And this helps also policymakers to finalize and prioritize on specific actions they need to do for them. So in your opinion, what are the main challenges for an SME to adopt green ICT practices in their businesses?
Well, first of all, I think everybody should become aware of the digital environmental challenge. Then things will come easily. This also requires a rise in the skill of the teams about eco-designs. That's why, for example, in Montpellier, we offer in April 3 days training on eco-design for the companies. Company must also understand that these issues must be taken into account at the very beginning of the digital project, which also allow to develop digital service more quickly, because we will have removed all the digital fat. So second point, it can help the project to go faster.
Christophe, a quick question. The 3-day training, is that completely free of charge for companies?
No, there is a cost, but it's a cost as a formation, so it can be supported by the fund, a specific fund from the formation for the companies.
And do they get an accreditation at the end of the 3 days?
Yes,
some
exactly.
form of certificate?
Yes, exactly.
And is that recognized on a local or national level?
On a national level.
Okay, so it's worth them doing it then, clearly, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And can you just tell us about some future plans you have for the GreenConcept project?
Well, it's still we have a last session starting in September, so we'll still have 1 year, but for sure we'll continue to raise the awareness of companies and inform public and private buyers also about their role as the buyer when to introduce environmental clauses during their purchase, including digital. This is a important point, I think. And also we're gonna accelerate our program, especially with the short 3 days course training, to have the largest number of companies and employees in digital eco-design.
Okay, that's wonderful, Christophe. And with that, then, I'd like to thank you very much for your presentation, and I'd like to move on to our fourth speaker of the day, who is Sebastien Bernis. He's the founder, CEO at BSWEB, a web marketing agency, specializing in the design of innovative, competitive intelligence software. And basically, as a diving instructor and advocate for a generalized organic diet, Sebastian's challenge is to link business and corporate social responsibility, and the balance has revealed the path of a software eco-design. So I'd like to now pass the floor to Sebastien to start his presentation. Thank you very much. Hello, Sebastien.
Yes, can you hear me?
Now we can hear you loud and clear, and we can see you at the screen as well.
Okay, nice.
But now we've lost you. Sorry, Sebastien, we're having trouble with your audio. I think I spoke too in advance. Can you speak again for us?
Well, can you hear me as well?
Unfortunately, you're cutting out on us.
Can you?
You're still, you're a bit muffled, I'm afraid, Sebastien. Try now. I don't know if it's your audio. The alternative, Sebastien, is this. We either move to Valentin Girard, our final speaker, and you come in on the phone option, if that's better. We'll just try it once more time, and then if not, I think we're going to have to go to that option. Try now, Sebastien?
Yes, I can hear you. Can you?
Okay. Yeah.
Good. Okay, so sorry.
All right, that's good. You're ready to go. Go ahead.
Nice. So I just said thank you very much for the organization of the webinar. That's really interesting and nice to speak about this subject. You still hear me? Just to be sure.
Still with us, Sebastien? That's good. You're good to go.
Okay. Thank you. What I would like to present you is a special case of the benefits of what Christophe just speak about with the GreenConcept program. So this is a case study, very easy to understand, and I'm sure you will understand easily what can be, which benefits you can get with this kind of audit. So my company is a very new company which design softwares, and in particular competition monitoring software. So it means that we reveal marketing strategies of companies. It gave them easy data and make them boost their business, like you can see, surpassing competitors. And in fact, we just collect data on the internet to help them take only decisions and don't waste any time with collecting data or basic analysis of data. So this is just to help them taking good decision on marketing. So this is a SaaS, software as a service proposition. That's what we sell. And why I'm interested in this concept is of footprint questions. It's at the beginning because of general corporate social responsibility interest. I try to convince my colleagues not to smoke, to eat biologic foods and things like that. And it was normal to think about doing something interesting and logical to try not to impact too much environment, even if it's a digital service that we provide. So what we do, in fact, is in three parts. First of all, on the left part there, we have bots that we set up to be able to recover a very big amount of data. And then we constitute a database, and this is what we call big data, in fact. So it's marketing information, like what companies sell, which prices they sell products, do they have stock on these products, but it can be on the internet, like social media, Facebook, or anything like that. So we collect a very big amount of data that we just get in database servers, and then the third part of our job is to give dashboards with good arrangement of data and very easy to understand data, like information with if I take an example with price, e-commerce or a brand, because they are both our clients, want to know which price is produced or is collected on different e-commerce websites. So we have to put a bot on each website each day to get the price of each product, and it can be it can produce a very big amount of data, and then we have to put them in a dashboard and then easy to read dashboards. So that's our job. The first consequence of the GreenConcept program Christophe presented just before was the conclusion. Obvious, but we had to see it to be sure that cloud use is the main subject that we have to make efforts, because it's more than 50% of our environment impact. So this graph is the conclusion of our impact, and we can see that the arrange port is the most important. So that's what we had to do. It's to work on what our bots do on the internet. Just another example to make easy understand. When we have to collect a price on the website, we will compare what you do with your own computer and what we try to do with the bot. So if you are on your own, on your computer, you go on the website, you just click first maybe in Google, then you type the name of the website you want to know, then you have an answer, then you click on the website, then you get the landing page, then you get the research bar. So this is many steps that costs downloads and so footprints each time. And in the end, you get the price with the page of the product, and you can see the price and on this one, and you collect it. So what we did with the bot is exactly the same thing, but what we understood, I will show you the results. You're waiting so much, I think. So what we do is to download a big amount of data, because when you make a request on your website with your own computer, you download the HTML, you download images, you download AJAX requests, you download many different things, which make you be able to see a very funny and beautiful page on the website. But when you do that, so that's what we did before the audit. So let's think about 2016. We did a big amount of requests. Then we download a very big amount of data with a very big spot. So we stress websites. We ask many things. We download everything, and in the end, even if we download 450,000 gigabytes, we just maybe keep in our database maybe 15 or 100 kilobytes. Okay, so there's a big waste of a gigantic amount of wasted data, because we don't need them. So what we can see on this table is, from 2015 to 2016, we get by two our clients' needs, and then we had a big request from our clients, and the service is very well working. So what you can see is between 2016 to 2017, we had maybe 150% increase of requests, and we have already less than 150 there. That's because we started working in 2017 on eco-conception and sustainable digital services. So I hope you understand what I say, but in fact, what we did with bots is to set up them, to tell them not to download images, not to download everything we don't need. And today, as you can see there, even if between 2017 and now, we have something like 300% more needs from our clients, but we were able to reduce the amount of requests, download, and third part. So this is good for everybody, because it costs less servers for us, it costs less stress for websites we visit, it costs less time to download, less data on the internet, and of course we have we give our clients a service which is now less expensive, and that's what we did, is to lower our price in the end. So if you have any questions, you can ask them now. In fact, I will just want to thank this program, because at the beginning I was not so sure something was being different, and it was difficult to make something, even because it's quite expensive to think about this. But in the end, and quite quickly, we can see just now the benefits.
Thank you, Sebastien.
Okay, that's it.
Wonderful. Thank you.
You're welcome.
We had problems with audio at the beginning, but they were just teething issues, so that's great. Before we move on to our final speaker, we have questions coming in. As you can see, the web address, the email addresses of each of the speakers are here. The presentation will be uploaded, so you can go back to it and check details. You can contact the speakers on the follow-up questions. But I do want to ask one here, because I think it's very pertinent. And it asks, if this could be open to all, but I'll see if you can answer it, Sebastien. Has the GreenConcept targeted public administration offices, as they have very old data centers and they're short in resources, and this would help measure and improve their environmental performance? So that's a nice consideration. Has that been discussed?
In fact, I'm not sure I understand your question, but in fact, we have many different ways to improve, even on the database, on the cloud. But we also need to improve our proposition of dashboards. That's the second way we have to. Yeah, you can work in every direction.
I understand. I think the question was targeted more at the moment. You're discussing the amount of companies who are onboarding these services. The question was directly directed to: have you considered putting this into public administration offices?
In fact, no. The answer is no, but because maybe they are not yet ready to think about all of these questions, and I was not questioned about this, but I would like to.
Well, so it's linked to what we were saying at the beginning, weren't we? If the project or initiatives such as ICTFootPrint, what you're doing, and our other speakers can help perhaps influence some national digital agenda, and this then goes obviously to support evolutions in public administrations as well, then that would be a great achievement. So that's something, yeah, that it could be a good takeaway for this webinar today.
I'm convinced we waste maybe 90 or 99% of data we make them travel on the internet. I'm sure everybody can improve its job, and of course administration should think about it, because they waste time, money, and people to move this data, and nothing is done with most of the time.
No, concur, Sebastien. Okay, we need to stop there, and I thank you once again for your talk. We now move to our final speaker of the day, who's waited patiently. Thank you very much. That's Valentin Girard. He's an engineer at ELA Innovation, who specializes in embedded systems and RFID technology. And for the past 2 years, Valentin has been involved in different projects at ELA Innovation, and his presentation will focus on environmental efficiency in the ELA Innovation. So, Valentin, we can see the screen and we can see the presentation up. And can you hear us? And you're ready to go. Over to you, Valentin. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for the presentation. So I'm Valentin Girard of ELA Innovation, and I will present to you, like my colleague previously, the project we worked on in cooperation with GreenIT. First of all, a quick context of the society innovation. and the product used for this project. ELA Innovation is a company that used RFID technology, means radio frequency identification. For example, we find RFID in the clothes we buy in stores, for example. These are small labels that must be cut after the purchase. So we have tags with identification and moreover sensor on the tag like temperature, humidity, movement, and all of this information is received by a reader. So with RFID technology, we set up a project which means the security of workers in the tunnel sites. We have the tunnel with workers and their tags. Information goes back to counting terminals, then centralized on a user terminal. Moreover, at each tunnel entrance, we have a big displayer for count the number of workers in the tunnel. Now, I will explain the ecological analysis of the project. So this is the whole life of the product. That's from manufacturing to end of construction. This graph can be resumed to 4 elements: average water consumption, average electrical consumption, gold, and car ride. Here, the water consumption of the project is 42 days of consumption by a person. For the energy, that's equal to 38 years of use of fridge and 10 milligrams of gold for the fabrication of the PCB. In addition, it's also like 50,700 kilometers by car. Sadly, the worst ecological equipments are the manufacturing and use of the terminals. After this analysis, we reviewed our methods of manufacture, use but also sale. The improvements are as follows. First, the end of life management of terminals. After the construction of a tunnel, if the customer recovers the equipment, we can have an average gain of 4% on a building site. This improvement is not significant, and we preferred repackaging the material to be able to reuse it on another tunnel. To apply this system, we changed the way of selling. We moved to an hardware rental. So we can repackage the material by significantly improving our environmental footprint. And our last action is to change the user terminal. Currently, the user terminal is a computer screen permanently on. Without knowing it, before the integration of GreenIT, the screen of the computer is the most energy intensive. If we change simply the screen computer by a smartphone or tablet, the improvement is significant. But we can't apply all these actions for gain and performance on the project, but that's still enough to improve our ecological footprint more than 60%. It's so impressive. All the methods we applied allow us to be more vigilant about future products. Moreover, this allows us to better manage our ecological footprint and references our vision of the company. So thank you for listening to me, and I'm available if you have questions.
Valentin, thank you very much. I do believe there are a couple of questions from the attendees. From our side, while I wait to just find that a second, how long did it take for GreenConcept to analyze the ELA Innovation ecological footprint and then implement subsequently the environmental efficiency practices? Do you have a ballpark timeline for that?
Yes, the first studies start in early April 2017 with GreenConcept. At that moment, we realized a preliminary diagnosis of the project. We have seen the first points of improvement and start thinking about future actions. After that, GreenConcept followed the progress of the project and continued to advise us on the different solutions to make our project greener. And the session ended in November with a final report including the analysis of the project and the final points of improvement proposed and implemented.
Okay, yes, thank you, Valentin. And if you can think of some benefits ELA Innovation is getting thanks to Ecodesign.
Thanks to the support of GreenConcept on the project, ELA Innovation could stay in the green policy. This is also a positive point for customers who are also eco-responsible when they are using our product. In addition, the study allows us to have useful design methods that will apply for future projects, for example.
Okay, Valentin, that's super. Can I ask you a favor, please? And can you just knock on the final slide of the presentation that you have there as a final wrap up? We'd like to obviously provide all of you with some information. First, I'd like to thank all the speakers for contributing to this webinar. I'd like to have a special thank you to my colleague Rita Meneses, who without her this wouldn't have taken place. So I'd like to thank her for the organisation of this. What we'd like, obviously, is for you to, if you're not engaged with ICT Footprint, to please do that. And there are different types of opportunities available for you. If you can come to a physical event, that would be wonderful. Having your success story on our platform is a must, and obviously GreenConcept needs to come onto the ICT Footprint marketplace. So that's a takeaway for today's webinar. And then there are a series of other actionable items you see on the screen in front of you, or if you can find out about our previous webinars. They're all recorded and the presentations are available. You can find out about the related activities that are going on around Europe. And the most important one, I think, is diving into accessing the most updated dynamic map of the ICT standard methodologies that are available. So with that, I'd like to thank all of you for keeping to timing. Thank you to our participants and audience who have been actively crunching also questions. And with that, our webinar is complete. And I'd like to, for those of you living in Europe, I hope you enjoy a wonderful lunch and the rest of the week. Thank you very much, all of you, once again, and goodbye.